All right.
All right, the first official podcast of the channel has started.
Yeah.
So,
Mitchell?
what?
Nothing. I'm just laughing.
Hold on. I'm gonna need you to politely shut your trap for like 30 seconds while I address.
Dang.
Well, I'm gonna need you to shut up.
Sassy.
Well, I need you to be quiet starting now because I have to talk to my massive subscriber base, and I can't do that if you're talking. Okay, good. So, welcome everyone to the first podcast of what will presumably be a 1,000 to 10,000 part series. We are going to talk about a little bit of everything, and this podcast will be perfect for anyone who is attending a funeral. Maybe you're bored and you want to listen to this instead of a eulogy. Maybe you're on a prison bus going to prison. You need something to listen to while you go to your life sentence. Maybe you're getting pushed around in a little baby cart around Walmart, and you're bored, and your mommy keeps telling you can't buy the toy you want, so you're going to listen to this instead. A lot of applications. So,
Don't know if they'd even be able to get this on a prison bus, Mitchell.
well, I'm assuming that the prison guards would let them play it over the radio.
The radio?
Yeah, like the little speaker system.
We're not broadcasting this.
well, maybe we are.
Like over the radio.
We might be.
Mitchell, oh my god.
So, Colton, what do you want to talk about?
I have no idea what you planned this.
Well, I kind of just
planned this, Mitchell.
I kind of just jumped into it hoping for the best.
Well, I mean, we could talk about your little half-breed goblin babies.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that. So, Colton's kind of a dummy. He's kind of an idiot. And I guess, for anyone who, well, no one would know, obviously. I hate Dobby from Harry Potter. I hate him. I think he's stupid. He's small. He's weak. Hold on. I gotta kick my cat out. She's rolling all over my cords. Yep. All right, I'm back. Anyways, I hate Dobby. He's small. He's frail. Bones of glass. Easy to push down. And I just hate his big buggy eyes. I don't like him. I think he's rude. And Colton made the joke that because the new Hogwarts Legacy trailer dropped, and I saw a bunch of house elves touching the food. They were like working in the kitchen. And I made the joke. I was like, Colton, I don't want to eat dirty house elf food. And so Colton thinks it would be funny to imagine a scenario where I commit adultery with a house elf, a female house elf, and we have nasty human hybrid children.
Oh yeah, I was laughing too hard about that.
Which
Mitchell, did you know that game takes place in the 1800s too?
So realistically, there might be some legal parameters around perhaps, moving the house elves somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mitchell have his little knickers. He'll run around in his little knickers.
See, Colton, I'm glad you emphasized the K because that could have easily been misconstrued as another really bad word.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know what I mean. We would have had to shut the podcast down. I would have had to do a public apology that my friend is saying slurs.
I talk about like underwear.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying for like the hearing impaired, they could have easily misconstrued the word knickers, which is
the hearing impaired.
Well, yeah, those who maybe muffle their words because they have a bunch of wax in their ears, they're gonna confuse that word, which is it's essentially for like freaking leg net. What the frick? It's like I know what they are.
What are you trying to explain?
I know what they are. They're like socks that go over your shins, right? They're just extra long socks.
Yeah. Mitchell will have his little like black dress shoes and his Washington hair.
I sound like I'd be the lamest wizard at Hogwarts.
I don't know. That's how they dress. Look at I'll send you a picture in Discord. I'm not kidding. They have like the little
send it to my phone and then I can put it up in the podcast.
I can find a good picture.
So
man, I'll have to find a picture. I don't know if I can even find a good one. Yeah, because they literally have like the Thomas Jefferson, George Washington like pants.
Well, it's actually a little known fact that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were both very prominent wizards from Hogwarts, and that's
How did you
actually,
know?
well, it's just common history. That's actually how J.K. Rowling got the idea for Harry Potter. She picked up a history book for the first time in her life, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, wizards were real."
Wizards, yeah, exactly.
And she actually
She
said that during an interview. She's like, "Holy crap, guys, wizards are real," and I just came up with this idea. And she wrote Harry Potter.
and then she wrote Harry Potter.
It's very revolutionary.
Mitchell, how come you aren't a wizard then?
Well, when I was little, I did go through a very hardcore Harry Potter phase. I distinctly remember taking the broom from my parents' closet, and it was just a shitty little like kitchen broom. But I would go out in the backyard, make sure no one was looking, and like run and jump, hoping I would take off. And I never did. And I returned the broom to the closet, defeated and sad several times. There's one time where I don't know if you did this with me, but maybe it was the neighbor kid. Him and I went up the road collecting hay because there's a bunch of hay on the side of the road, and then we
Yeah.
brought a big bundle of that back home and like used twine to strap it to sticks to make our own brooms. And we
Okay.
then jumped off the trampoline with them, which was super dangerous. And we didn't fly, unfortunately. There was no flying done that day.
Yeah, good thing you didn't impale yourself.
Well, yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been good
Which
for no one.
lands forward. Ooh, just stabs himself.
I'm
I
like,
can't find a good picture of like the outfit, but I know I saw your
well,
character wear like clothes that you would have worn from that era. It was pretty
well,
cool.
type in like 1800s wizard or George Washington wizard, and then you should get a pretty sweet picture to pop up.
I'm kind of afraid to see what happens.
Just don't type,
Let's see.
you know,
Washington, if I could type.
I'm keeping an eye on
Wizard.
my audio levels, and it keeps peaking into the red, which is technically normal, but I'm just scared it's gonna ear rape those listening, and they're gonna scream.
I
So
don't know. I think they'll be all right.
I think they'll be okay. They're pretty
All
resilient.
I got was a picture of George Washington and a sad looking man.
Oh, maybe that's what wizards looked like back then. Sad
It's a, it's
men.
a, it's a black guy called the Wizard of Tuskegee. I don't know what that means. What
I
is
don't
this?
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
George Washington Carver. Okay, okay. Never mind. That makes sense.
All right. So Colton, you recently saw the Batman. How was that?
It was good. I tried to get you to go and you never responded.
Well, it's because I'm kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like I'm cooler than Batman, so it just feels like a step down to watch someone like do a cheap imitation of me.
Mitchell, how come you weren't the Batman then?
Well, I didn't get,
Okay.
I didn't get cast, unfortunately.
Why?
They said I was quote hyper aggressive and could not act.
Well, there you go. You answered it.
Well, I think they were just pissed because it was a Monday morning and I was the first person they saw in a line of like 100 people.
There you
So I
go.
kind of had the odds against me.
One thing I did not like about the movie was it's 3 hours long. I didn't realize it was 3 hours long.
Was that directed by Schneider? Was that a Schneider flick? No.
No,
I think
no.
DC movies are just infamously long. I mean,
That, but like, I feel like every movie's different too. Like, it's always someone else directing it that's like different. Not
I
that Marvel doesn't have it, but
obviously for those listening, we're not going to spoil anything in the movie, but I overall I heard it's a bit of a slow grind film. Like it's got moments of action, but it's more so like a character piece more than anything.
yeah, it definitely is slow. It was good though.
Do you think without saying anything, do you think the movie ended setting up a second film? Like was this setting the foundation for like a new trilogy perhaps, or was this like a one and done kind of film?
I feel like it. I feel like there'd be another one after that. Yeah, just cause yeah, it's open ended enough where it'd be like, sure, let's make another.
What would your villain name be if you were in Gotham? What would
My villain name? I
yep,
have no
like
idea.
what's your shtick? What's your power? And then what's your villain name?
Well, I feel like none of the some of the villains have powers, but oh, I don't know. What do you think? What would be a good villain name? I literally can't think of anything.
Well, Colton, you love Legos, so I think you'd do something. I think you'd be like the Lego master, and you would
The Legoer? I'm
like
the Legoer?
yeah. So like you would build evil robots out of Lego and like leave Legos on the ground so people would step on them and get hurt.
Wow, that's kind of lame.
Well, it is lame, but you are one of Batman's most deadly adversaries.
How? He literally wears like thick like leather boots. He could just stomp on them
Okay, but
and
think of
destroy them.
well, that would be rude of him, wouldn't it? And Batman wouldn't do something that makes him look like the bad guy.
I don't know. This Batman don't care.
Oh, is
I
he?
don't think he would just go with his big freaking leather boots, just stomp away and beat the crap out of me.
Well, if he did do that, Colton, you could sue him for destruction of property.
He's a vigilante, Mitchell. You can't sue a vigilante.
Batman's
You
not
think he's
above.
gonna show up to get? You think he's gonna show up as I try to like sue him? You think I'm gonna like go hire a lawyer and everything
I.
and like file a suit against him?
All right. Okay. So here's
He'd
here's what
probably just
here's what we do. So you're the Lego master. He wrecks your Legos. You're pissed because they were expensive. So you take him to court, and I get on jury duty. Like we pay the right people to get me on the jury so I can swing the case in your favor.
that's
So
that's one person. You realize how many people are on a jury?
yeah, shut up. I'm not
Mitchell.
done. I'm not done with my master plan. So Bruce Wayne walks in, and we're both confused. We're like, okay, like I thought I was suing the Batman, the Batman. He crushed my Lego set. So Bruce sits down. He's like, "Oh, I'm on behalf of Mr. Batman." Well, here's my grand plan because I know his secret. I stand up and point and screech like in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and I go, "That's not Bruce Wayne, that's Batman." And then everyone gasps, and I run up to Bruce with a marker and like color the area around his eyes black, and then I put a mask over him, and everyone realizes that it's Batman.
Couldn't you just do that on anybody though? Like theoretically, you could just literally put like guy liner on or whatever you're saying, and then
Well, that's what
and
well, that's unfortunately what his lawyer says, and then the case falls apart, and I get escorted out of the courtroom.
yeah, you're causing a scene, and then I'm down a juryman that would be on my side because of your antics.
Well, don't worry, Colton, because when I get escorted out of the court, I'm gonna start a Twitter feed that's free Colton. He's innocent,
And
and
then you won't even get it on the trending, I bet.
I will, and then I'll do hashtag Bruce Wayne is Batman for frickin' real.
That long? That's a long like hashtag.
That's gotta be long to get people's attention.
I think it's supposed to be short, Mitchell.
All right, I'll make it Wayne is Bat.
We Wayne is Bat.
Wayne is Bat.
Bat is Wayne.
Bat is Wayne.
There you go. Oh my god.
Yep.
I don't think that would work at all, Mitchell. I'm sorry to tell you.
I'm pretty sure it'd work.
I don't know. I'm not sure I have faith in it working.
Well,
I'll probably lose the suit and then have to pay him for his inconvenience.
dude, if oh my god, that's perfect. If you piss Wayne off enough and he like tries to sue you for defamation.
Why do you call him? Okay, first off, why do you call him Wayne? Because his name's Bruce. His name's not Wayne Bruce.
Okay, listen, Brucey. So if you piss Brucey off enough, he's gonna get pissed. He's gonna sue you for defamation. No one. Do you know how easy it is to make a rich person the villain in any story? If I go on Twitter and say that Mr. Bruce Wayne, a millionaire, possibly a trillionaire, is suing some poor little man, there is no. You'll get off scot free, and he's gonna lose
But
everything.
But I tried to sue him first.
That's
How,
well,
how
that's
are you gonna be like,
that point is mute. That point means nothing in the grander scheme of things. Because if I go on Twitter and it's gonna say quote Bruce Wayne multimillionaire sues poor kid with Legos. What is this? Question mark finish
what
hashtag
is this?
hashtag Wayne is bat. Uh, you're gonna get off scot free, and I think you're gonna get millions.
I mean, you could be right, maybe. I don't know. You'd have to try it, Mitch. Go sue a fictional character.
Wait, Batman's not real?
Yeah.
I
Didn't
thought
you?
I thought that movie was a documentary piece.
There you go, Mitch. I'm glad you could figure it out.
I feel silly.
Mitch, so hang on. I got something for you. Here, I know I don't have my phone on me, so I'm just gonna send it to you. Doesn't this look like you?
All right,
Oh crap. Why did it do it twice? Hang on here.
this is just more work for me because now I'm gonna have to save the image and send it to myself to put in the video.
It won't let me send it. Hang on
It's
here.
probably for the best because it's probably like some little chimp or gargoyle.
It looks just like you.
It's gonna be Dobby, isn't it?
You'll have to see.
Dude, I hate Dobbies so much. You somehow were able to loop it back around to Dobby.
Yeah, you did this, not me.
Well, you instigated the conflict by just
You don't
hinting.
even know what I sent. You don't even know what I sent. You have to look at it first.
Listen, I'm just saying if it is a house elf, like I'm gonna maybe our friendship's done forever.
You would be that mad about a house elf if I sent a house elf. I don't know if I believe that.
I would be absolutely livid.
Oh my
I
god.
still haven't received it yet, so we'll have to come.
I sent it to a DM, Mitchell. Or PM, sorry.
I don't know what that is.
It's a private message.
Where?
Go click, see that little tab where it says
Did you send it on Discord?
Schwaggles?
You're
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, I told you I'd send I was telling you I sent it in Discord.
Oh, it's just angry Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, doesn't it look like you?
No.
Yeah, you wake up every morning like that.
Well, sometimes I do because my cat likes to tear up my carpet and claw at the door at like 6 a.m. She's a
Imagine you rise from your bed like Dracula with your arms and you just sit up all mad. Oh.
that actually would be pretty sweet if I like went to the mall just as Dracula and then like I saw like a fair maiden walking down below and I was like, I want your blood. And then I
Then
like
you go crashing down from the second floor.
I, well, I would glide gracefully like a robin.
I don't know, I think you'd land on that like little like what do they call it? That little pod that has all the
I,
like
I would just
smushmallows on them or whatever they're
I
called.
they're called squishmallows.
There you go.
And
Yeah, squishmallows. You'd land on that and just destroy that.
I think maybe we need to talk about the plague that is squishmallows and how it's corrupting the youth of today.
What about like, figures? Don't
Well,
they do the
well,
same?
people who collect figurines and statues are pretty cool. Like I think I speak on behalf of figure and statue collectors that they are probably the coolest people you'll ever meet.
What makes their little squishmallows or whatever they're called different?
I just don't like them.
Wow, that was very in depth.
Well, if I don't like it, it's not cool.
Mitchell, do you hate Beanie Babies too then?
I never liked Beanie Babies. The only people who liked Beanie Babies were 60 and 70-year-old women who thought they were sitting on a gold mine. And then 10 years pass and they're worth diddly squat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't deny that.
So,
My grandma had a ton of Beanie Babies, like a whole like bucket full. I remember playing with them.
well, I rest my case. It was very much a grandma thing.
Yeah.
I think we had like one or two in the house when I was little, but like no one collected them.
No, yeah. I never collected them.
I was I did collect things as a kid. Like I collected rocks,
Rocks
obviously.
and sticks
Well,
and string.
I'm not some little dumpster raccoon, Colton. I have taste. I went after the
Oh, and
spot.
tape. You forgot tape.
No, I
Rocks, sticks,
you're making.
string, and
What
tape.
am I, some little cave child who is like?
Well, you got bored, so you'd make things with it.
Well, speaking of making things, I went through a very hardcore Jimmy Neutron phase when I was little. You remember
I
that?
do remember
My
this.
my inventing phase.
Yeah, your inventing phase with
Ba-
rocks and string and
Colton, no. I was a little smarter than that.
you
Basically,
used what you had.
well, basically what I did is I would take like old motherboards and wires that my dad would like find in the garbage from his job, and he would bring it home. I mean, obviously they weren't dirty, they were just tossed out, but he'd bring those back for me, and I thought it was so cool. I'd tape them together and like stick wires in holes, and I would pretend like I made something. And I distinctly remember in fourth grade when we had the overnight party at our elementary school, I
Yeah.
made a quote ghost tracker out of a McDonald's spy toy, a pencil
Oh,
box,
yes.
and like some wires I taped to a circuit board.
I remember that.
Um, and
When
it
you said you put wires and things, I just imagine you saw an outlet one day and we're just like, ooh,
I just
stuck a wire in.
well, I did do that. That's how I ended up with my white hair and my severe cataracts.
Yeah, exactly. It's why you can't see anything at all
What it
unless it's like super up close.
Okay, like obviously you've had a lot of tangents in this podcast, but we're just gonna keep it going. Speaking of sticking things in outlets and like getting fried, going off of that, what do you think's like the worst pain you felt as a kid? Like, because I have a guess as to what you're gonna say, but I want to hear what you think is like the worst injury you've incurred as a
The
child.
worst injury I've incurred?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I remember getting hit in the nuts with a soccer ball. That was awful.
See, I thought you were gonna say the dirt bike incident.
I mean, that was bad too, but that's a different level. Like of
Well, I'm talking about the most pain.
I mean, well, like I don't know, like that hurt. I'd say that hurt just as much because that kid that whipped that soccer ball, the game was done, and he kicked it as hard as he could at the goalie, which was me, unfortunately, and
I
that just hit me square in the jewels.
that probably
That hurt so bad.
that probably decommissioned you for the whole game.
I mean, the game was done, Mitchell, and the kid the kid whipped it at me.
Oh, so he's just a little douchebag.
Yeah, he was. It was done and over with. So he was just like kicked it as hard as he could, and then it hit me, and I just crumpled over and laid there.
Oh, and then you pooped your pants because it hit your balls so hard you relieved your bowels.
I don't remember that at
You
all.
took a big stinky doo doo right in your soccer pants.
Gross. Why is it always? It always ends up with poop with you. I swear.
Like
I was waiting for when you would talk about poop.
I'm just saying, like poop's funny.
Mitchell, I think you like poop. I've said this before, but
No,
I think it's true.
no, it's gross, but it is funny. We played soccer for like several years.
We did, yeah. It was like a little local thing. It wasn't for any schools.
Well, it's through Walker Rec.
Yeah.
I
Um,
I feel like we didn't really contribute a lot to those teams.
I know I didn't. At
Like,
least I don't remember doing anything.
well, the problem is I think for like 2 or 3 years we had like I don't remember their names, but there were two kids on our team who were just ball hogs. Like they always
Yeah.
got the ball every game. I mean, obviously they were good, sure, like they scored the goals, but I mean, no one else got a chance to do anything. They just constantly were handed the ball by everyone else. And
No,
then
yeah,
like
some people are like that.
and then I distinctly remember like always being pressured to pass it to him during the game. It's like, and I remember being annoyed. It's like, why does this kid have to get the ball every game?
No, yeah. See, I never played like forward. I was always like midfield or like defense, but that's because I didn't like running around.
I loved being forward because I loved being able to basically run up and down the entire field.
I could see that with you.
Um,
I don't know why. Just running around.
I got tripped by one kid one time, and I did a full frontal somersault and like landed on my back.
Ooh,
I didn't.
I don't remember that.
It didn't hurt though. Surprisingly, I just kept going.
Yeah, and that's that. The little kid energy.
And then I pooped my pants.
Yeah, okay. Why? Why is it poop?
And then I left a big log right on the field, and some kid fell in it,
What is wrong with
and he
you?
like got some in his mouth. It was horrible.
Ew.
He like had a big brown mustache, and he looked at his mom
A
crying.
brown mustache? Jesus. Is he eating like frickin' chocolate?
Well,
God.
he stood up and looked at his mom. He's like, "Mom, I got poo poo on my face."
And then they pointed at you.
Well, they can't prove it was me.
They can. I mean, they just need to see the frickin' brown streak down your leg.
Oh shit, I forgot.
You were so into the game, you didn't care about anything else going on. You
Well,
just ran
the
around
good part is
smearing it.
the good part is Colton. We wore shorts for most of those games, so I probably would be able to shake it into the field and no one would even know.
It just goes, it's mud. It's mud.
It is. It's just really stinky mud.
It's just really stinky mud. There you go. That
So
makes perfect sense.
speaking of poo poo,
Oh no.
um,
Where's this
well,
going?
I was just gonna ask, when do you remember any time where you pooped somewhere you weren't supposed to?
Like, do I remember? No, I don't. Because I never actively tried to go somewhere I didn't want to.
See, I remember several instances where I took a little dookie where I wasn't supposed to.
Why? Why, child? Why would you do such a thing?
I didn't know. I just had to go.
So you just went?
Okay, so I remember distinctly two times that I made a little mess in my trousers. Well, the
God,
first
why do you say it like
the first time actually wasn't in my trousers. Um,
that? What? That makes it sound worse.
just why don't you freaking listen? You're kind of rude. You're interrupting my story.
Okay, continue.
So essentially, I remember I have a very vague memory of like getting in the tub when I was little and just like popping off three little popcorn turds into the tub,
Jesus.
and my and and my mom comes in and she's upset with me because there's three little floaters like floating around me as I'm playing with my toy boat. I don't know if this is what I said, but I I think I have a vague memory of looking at whichever parent was in the room and going, I think I pooped, and there was obviously poop in the tub.
You think you pooped as you're sitting there. What do you think it was? Like one of those salt things you chuck in the tub. Did you think it was one of those?
I don't know. I just
That's,
my mind couldn't put together that I made poop and I was sitting in it.
I mean, there was nothing that I actively did as other than like a baby, like running off and doing stuff. But that's just because you're a kid, like a little, like 2-year-old kid.
The second time I remember making big stink is I was at the YMCA and I had just gone swimming. And all of a sudden, like I'm swimming, and someone blows a whistle, and they're like, "Everyone out of the pool!" And I didn't know why. I was like kind of frightened, so we all got out of the pool. And there was apparently like a big log at the bottom of the pool. Like,
Why did it sink?
I guess it was dense, dude. Like it got waterlogged.
You would know, I guess, right?
Well, anyways, like this is weird because it's crazy because I didn't know I did it. Like I didn't feel the poop come out, which is weird. Cause so like we're back in the changing room, and like my mom pulls down my swim shorts, and there's a big just brown plaster right in the crotch, like obviously an impact crater from when the turd initially came out. And she's like, "You did poop," and I just started crying super hard because I was so scared I was gonna get in trouble.
And that's why Mitchell never swims in public pools ever.
You know what's funny is I think I can't confirm this, but I'm pretty sure when I was like extra little, there used to be. It's not the YMCA anymore. It's like a science center, but there used to be a YMCA building. Kind of. I'm trying to think. It's a
Oh,
place.
where you're talking
I
about
think
on Leonard.
yes, Leonard, and it was
Yeah.
a very tiny YMCA, but it was like I have such great memories of that place because they had like a little rock climbing area.
Yeah.
They had a racquetball court, and my dad would take me there when he would work out, or I'd like get put there in daycare. And I'm pretty sure I pooped the pool there too. No, no,
You,
no,
Mitchell,
no,
you just love shit bombing the
nope.
freaking
Actually, you
YMCA's.
know what? That's the same YMCA from the first story. So no, I can confirm I made poop in that pool when I was
I
little.
love that.
And if by some miracle the guy or girl who had to clean that is listening to this, I'm sorry that my little frail body couldn't contain the log and
You
it
know what
came out.
happens, Mitchell, when people do that stuff in pools or even blood?
Well,
They have to shut it down for like 24 to 48 hours.
I think they drained the pool.
But yeah, yeah, but then like because it was in there and like the pools and stuff like cycle the filters and all that, they literally have to shut everything down and clean the entirety of the thing. It's like a
L
biohazard.
I should have looked at the I should have looked at the girl cleaning and been like, LOL.
Just goes a little like 3-year-old Mitchell. LOL.
LOL, that's my shit, and then run
Yeah.
off.
The only reason I know that is because when I worked at Millennium, they had that like little kitty area, the splash pad, I think is what they call it.
Mhm.
Some little kid was running in and he ate it and just like smashed his face on the cement. And they had to shut everything down for like 24 hours
Oh,
because he bled everywhere.
he tripped by the pool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the ground is like textured, right?
Well, it's a coarse concrete to prevent you from slipping.
Yeah, and so he was running and he like tripped and just like smashed his face into that.
Yeah, that'd tear you up pretty quick. It's basically sandpaper.
Yeah, he was lucky too that there was like a nurse that was at the beach that day and that kid was bleeding everywhere. I think he had to go get stitches.
I think I that YMCA I was at was also where I did my swimming lessons.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I did that at our school.
What actually, if you want to tell the story, you had a really mean swim teacher.
Yeah, they pushed me off they pushed me off the diving board, which was mean, but it had to be done, I guess, if you think about it.
Well, they do the
Because I
same.
was too much of a chicken.
Yeah, but like they do that with babies because it's to teach them like to float. Like they'll throw the baby into the pool. That's not
Just the
fake.
image of just
They,
no, just the image of it. Just chucking a baby in a pool.
oh yeah, they like wind up pitch that thing into the deep end and hope it floats.
Jeez. No, yeah. I don't know. I look back and it was mean, but I think it was definitely a good thing because I feel like I'm afraid of heights, so it also makes sense that I was scared.
Well,
So
that's a very rational fear because humans have the distinct ability to realize when a certain fall from a certain height would result in a certain injury. So when
I
you're
mean that, but just so how high up you are too. Not that like a diving board's that high, but for like a 5-year-old kid, it's huge.
I still do not like the sensation of diving off a diving board because whenever I do it, I get a ton of water up my nose. And I
Yeah,
know you can buy like nose plugs for swimming, but there are
that's for
people,
nerds.
well, it is. All those Olympians who use nose plugs are big nerdy babies.
Exactly.
Like I could do what they do easily without any training.
Imagine you in like an Olympic setting. You like have to dive off one of those like 50-meter, whatever they're called, diving boards or whatever.
I
Just dives right off and just belly flops at the last second.
I would add some flair to my routine. Like everyone else would dive off, try to act all serious, and I'd be like cannonball, and then I'd jump into the pool, make a big splash.
And then yeah, your little speedo would get ripped off, and then you'd get so nervous you'd crap at the pool.
Can you imagine at an Olympian event, like I get so nervous I just take a big doo doo, and then they have to like call the entire event off because they have to
You
drain the
ruined
pool.
it.
Yeah,
That would be hilarious.
I
I would love to see that.
I think I'd use it to my advantage because while everyone else is getting out of the pool, I would finish my laps and win the gold trophy.
Ew. I don't think that would count towards anything.
Yeah, it is.
I literally, I literally think if that happened, Mitchell, they would just exempt everybody, including you. So you would just literally finish it for nothing.
I would literally get out with the angriest face I've ever had and be like, I want my gold trophy.
They give you one of those chocolate gold coins.
Dude, those chocolate coins you get for like Halloween and like for holidays are some of the grossest tasting chocolate ever.
Yeah, it's very bland.
It's literally the cheap. It's the same chocolate you find in a dollar store. Like it's just cheap doo doo.
It is cheap. It is. I wonder, like, where you probably would just get it from a dollar store, wouldn't you?
Well, I think that's predominantly where you got it because you could buy like a whole bag of like quote gold coin chocolates in like a big net. Because I remember my
Yeah.
grandma would always do this stuff, or like my parents would around Easter,
No,
and
yeah, yeah, mine would too.
it's just like they look cool because like when you're little, you're like, oh, it's money, but then you eat it and you're like, oh, it tastes bad.
Did you? Okay, first off, did you? Yeah, but did you ever take the foil off, Mitchell, or did you just eat it as is?
What? That's
'Cause that probably helps. That probably helps the flavor a little
well, Colton.
if you don't eat the foil.
I'm kind of insulted. You think I'm some little like mindless zombie that would eat foil off a candy.
Well, I imagine you're just like, ooh, chocolate, and then just snap, eat it. And you're like, oh, it tastes bad, and it's got the foil on it still.
Yeah, my mouth is all cut up and bloody from
Well,
the
it's
tin.
not like you're eating glass. Jesus, this stuff's soft.
Well, there was a razor blade in my candy.
Oh my god.
Do
You
you
didn't notice it? You didn't notice a razor blade in that thin piece of chocolate?
not until after I ate it, and then I'm like, ow, and I pulled out a razor blade from the back of my throat.
Oh, I did not like that.
Do
Oh,
do you remember when that was like a really big scare? I'm trying to think of when that was, like 2009. No, it was definitely
I mean,
early.
it's whenever you're. I think that's always been a thing when you're a kid. Your
No,
parents are always freaked out about they're gonna put something in your candy.
but I remember distinctly like early 2000s back when we were like in prime trick or treating, the prime trick or treating age group. Like
Yeah,
my parents were like well, the news in general was overly concerned with like there being sharp objects like nails or razor blades in candy. And
yeah.
and the stupid part is I think that only happened like once, but of course
And I'm
like
pretty sure it was some parent doing it to their kid, if I remember correctly.
well that makes it okay. That makes it okay because you can just chalk that up to good parenting.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
I mean, if the
No,
kid
I remember people making fun of that. They're like, they're gonna put drugs in the candy. It's like, who would do that? Like,
I would put laxatives in the candy, but that's it.
oh my God, that's awful. Did you ever hear about the people that were giving out caramel apples, and then some kid takes a bite out of it, and it's an onion? They caramel coated an onion.
I that sounds delicious.
A caramel coated onion.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would. That'd be so off-putting because you're expecting something sweet, and then you get like a very oniony taste.
Well, onions are sweet. They can be.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like an apple kind of sweet. It still has that like distinct onion
Can you
like
imagine,
difference.
dude? Do you imagine how cool you'd be running around with your onion breath all Halloween?
Oh, gross. Mitchell, you know what? I'm gonna caramel coat a sardine, and you'll have to eat it.
I've n- I've never had sardines, and I just don't envision a situation where I would be having them ever.
Pizza.
I I don't understand the appeal of them on pizza because the only thing they would add flavor wise would be an incredibly large amount of salt,
It'll
right?
be fishy. It tastes very fishy.
Well, yeah, but I mean sardines are also used because they're salty.
I mean, are they naturally salty, or is that just what they add to it, like the salty water or whatever?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like someone threw it on a pizza as a joke, and then like enough people liked it to the point where they're like, okay, we'll just make it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never had sardines, and oh my God,
What?
I think Mitchell, they're gonna hear that.
Hear what?
You going
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but I do have the strong urge to make number two.
to go poopy.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it so crudely, but yes, I do have to make poopy.
So we're swinging back around the poop again for
Yeah,
the
we
third
we have
time.
to get off the poop train because people aren't gonna want to listen to that while they're working. They're gonna be like, "I'm having a bad day at work. My boss yelled at me. I
Who knows,
caught."
Mitchell, though? Talking about that could make them laugh.
All right, here. Okay, for anyone listening who's having a bad day and like poop jokes really make you laugh, uh, I'm gonna put in a bunch of fart noises here, for like 5 seconds. Go. And that was
Well,
that.
there.
There was the poop and fart noises, and hopefully I hope that made someone's day.
There, yeah. Hopefully it makes them just get a little chuckle.
And I apologize if the fart noises aren't in there because I am gonna have to listen to an hour plus worth of audio, and it might be easy to miss. But I will do my best to find where I said I'd put the fart noises in and put them in.
There you go. Yeah, search. We'll just make it. Let's keep making it longer for Mitchell to search
No, we're cutting episode one of the podcast off at an hour,
at an hour.
and then I think future episodes for the time being will be around 30 minutes,
Okay.
unless enough people like what we're doing and they want longer episodes. Because I know people in general tend to prefer hour-long podcasts, but
Yeah.
obviously being a small channel, I don't know if people are going to have the patience to put up with my shenanigans. So we'll keep it at 30 minutes.
Yeah. That sounds good. That's a good idea.
I have a feeling the podcast is going to pull in like 30 views, like my other non-animation related videos.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You just have to try, man. Keep trying.
There's going to be like 3 comments, and they're going to be like, "When's your next animation?" I'm going to be like, "I'm trying." Okay, yeah.
Trying.
For anyone who's like, "Oh, he's been slow at getting animate," yeah, they sound like that. Colton, do it again.
What?
Do your little grunt.
The ooh.
Yeah, see, that's what they sound like because they're upset.
Yeah.
They go,
No
"Oh,"
one's happy.
they go, "Oh."
Yeah. No one. Yeah. They're all mad at Mitchell
Uh,
for
I
not doing animations.
I am trying to get animations done. Obviously they're short and it's not like they take the longest to do, but I am kind of stuck in the rut of a 9 to 5 job, and that that job requires me to be in front of a computer for that entire time. So by the time I get home, I'm kind of tired and I don't feel like sitting in front of a computer for another like 4 or 5 hours. So the only time I really can work on animations at the moment is on the weekend, and I tend to be kind of busy on the weekends too.
You know
So
what I have to say to that, Mitchell?
that they're excuses, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That it's well, it kind of is because I do feel bad. I'm not putting more of a grind into getting animations out because it's what people really like, but it does take time, despite the questionable level of quality in each video. It's been likened to that of the old Flash animations, the old Newgrounds animations, which is kind of what I'm going for. So I'm glad people are liking them. But obviously, I'm not gonna do future animations. It's just it is gonna be slower getting them out. So for anyone who was curious as to why there hasn't been one in the past month, it's not because I'm not gonna do them again. It's just because I have had no time or motivation to really sit down and do it. But I do have 2 prompts for animations I plan on doing. I just have to do them. So if you are kind of stuck waiting for it, I encourage you to watch some older videos of mine. Colton and I played Minecraft a while back. They are some older videos, so obviously like the quality of editing isn't necessarily the greatest, but we do have a lot of funny back and forths throughout those episodes. So if you're looking for something that you can honestly just listen to without watching, that might be worth it. Because honest to God, we don't do jack diddly in those episodes. We just talk. So if you want to watch those or just listen to them, it's basically like its own little podcast series. So you can do that. But if you don't want to, that's understandable because I mean they're old and they're not the greatest. So
Way to plug it, Mitch.
well, I gotta plug it somehow. I mean,
No, no, no. I know. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I get it.
all right, Colton. We've been talking a lot about. Well, honestly, this
Poop.
whole well, we have talked about poop a lot. Honestly, this podcast has been kind of a blur. Like I don't really remember what we talked about.
Everything.
A little bit of everything.
There you go.
So for the last 15 minutes, you get to decide what we talk about.
The last 15?
Yeah.
Oh God. I thought, isn't it coming up on an hour though? Because we started at 10, didn't we?
Well, my recording. Sorry, I'm a little phlegmy. My recording time shows 45 minutes.
Oh, dang. Okay, okay. Uh, I don't even know, man. Mitchell, you put me in the spot, and I hate that. It makes me feel less natural about it.
Let's talk about. Well, we'll swing back to movies. Let's talk about the Uncharted movie.
The Uncharted movie? All right. I honestly have not seen anything about it, so it must not be good. That's what I assume.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's like the same thing for the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie that released, where diehard fans of the series, of the game series, I think is going to find a lot of faults in it, and obviously they're not going to like it. Like I'm a huge Uncharted fan, so there's a lot of elements of the film that rub me kind of the wrong way. And it's not that it's a bad movie, because there are certain moments in the film, from what I could see, that are very Uncharted-esque. I think the annoying part is that it sounds like they took a lot of inspiration from Uncharted 3 and 4, which is fine, but it's
Yeah.
supposed to be an origin story. And the thing is like Uncharted 3 dives into young Nate meeting Sully, and you know, I
I mean, I
think
don't think it's a bad idea to have that, like a young Nate meet Sully. I think it's a good idea.
it works, except they kind of changed the parameters of how they met, because they kind of jump into Nate being older and meeting Sully, who's just Mark Wahlberg being Mark Wahlberg for most of the film. It's
Yeah.
not really until the end you kind of see some semblance of Sully. Um, it, it feels weird because they're taking elements from games really far off in the future and putting them in an origin story.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's from Uncharted 3. Oh, that's from Uncharted 4. Why is Nate doing this early in the game? But I think the movie did well enough because it released during a period where there were no other movies to compete against.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because isn't it number 2 right now behind like Batman? I
I
think.
think so. It released before
That
Batman,
sounds right.
so it had like a good solid month and a half to have people watch it, and like that being the only thing in theaters to watch.
Yeah.
So I think it financially did well enough and got decent enough reviews where I think the theory is that they're going to start doing movies based off the games, which
Okay.
which can work if because the two biggest complaints I hear from the Uncharted movie is not enough action and not enough use of the original music score. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, like the acting's kind of, I think Tom Holland can make a good young Nate. It's just we still all see him as Spider-Man, so it's kind of hard to see him as anything else.
Yeah. Which, yeah, because I do like Tom Holland.
And I do think Mark Wahlberg has the potential to be a good Sully. He has to want to be Sully, not Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
I could see that.
Mark's an infamously stubborn actor, and I can safely say that I assume that when talks went down as to who he would be playing and how he would be acting, Mark probably went into the movie set just fully intent on being himself.
Yeah, I could see that. I
But
could really see that.
I do think if they can take what people loved about this film and then use that in the next film, there can actually be a. I think we can actually, for once, get a good movie, like video game movie adaptation.
Yeah, which would be, yeah. Because, yeah, the ones that aren't good, you know,
I can't really think of a video game movie that. Oh, you know what? There is one video game movie that actually is like very good.
Mortal Kombat.
Well, actually, the Mortal Kombat movie wasn't bad. Like I think that
I've
got.
never seen it, so I couldn't say.
I I
I'm just
haven't
throwing it out there.
I haven't either, but I think it got like a solid like. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
I think the best video game movie we've ever gotten is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
yeah. I had, I forgot about that.
I
That
think that
makes sense.
I think that stands as like the most stylistic movie that was able
Yeah,
to adapt a game. I don't Scott Pilgrim was a game first, right? It wasn't a graphic novel or anything,
I
was
know
it?
it. Yeah, I know it's a game.
Okay, I think the movie is
Yeah,
like straight from the game, but that was really good. Um,
yeah.
The Resident Evil movie, on the other hand, I refuse to watch because it's hot garbage.
You hate it with a bleeding passion.
I'm a diehard Resident Evil fan, and there's nothing about that movie that looks redeeming.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, like, I feel like the cinematography of it looks good, you know?
Well, there are
Like
certain.
that what it looks like, it looks good.
It's funny because like the set pieces are good. Like they spent
Yeah.
a lot of time on the aesthetic of the movie. It's just when it came down to the story and the character choices, it didn't work. So
No,
so you're
exactly,
left with a
yeah.
lot of really cool set pieces, but like really hollow acting and really bad story plot lines. And because what they did is they basically butchered and bastardized the story of one and two, and then freaking melted that together into one weird story.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have made the comment that Resident Evil would have done way better as a series.
Like
Like,
like you're talking like a show, right?
well,
Like an episodic type stuff?
well, yeah. Think about it. Like, if you have like a 12, we'll say like a 6 episode. Each episode's like an hour, 50 minutes, like 50 minutes to an hour, and you
Yeah.
have like a 6 episode series. You could do each game as a series, like because realistically, Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3, like those would all do incredibly well if they had time to pan stuff out.
Yeah.
But
Like actually get like a story going.
but obviously Hollywood just they don't invest in anything that doesn't have like a huge return potential on it. So obviously like the talks to have a Resident Evil show were never going to actually come to fruition.
Yeah, if they even were, who knows?
Well, it's really cool because I forgot when they released it was like a pilot teaser. There was actually going to be a Resident Evil series called Arklay,
Oh, okay,
which was
okay.
because the Arklay Mountains is where Resident Evil 1 takes place. And the series was going to actually feature like the beginning of the outbreak in the woods.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually going to like touch on like the STARS incident and then like end with the infection reaching the city.
Okay,
And
okay.
it looked really well done. Like it was going to be kind of like a crime thriller. And the cool part was it was using like kind of its own unique characters, so it didn't have the potential to completely ruin and destroy beloved characters like they did with my boy Leon in the most recent Resident Evil film. That's not Leon, guys.
No, it's
And
definitely not.
and before anyone like wants to say like, "Oh, you just don't like who they chose as the actor." I actually think he would have made a fantastic Leon. I just think for one they didn't try to dress him up as the Leon we all know with
Yeah.
his beloved hot topic emo boy haircut. And the second problem, which is actually the most glaring problem opposed to what he looks like, is they just changed his character dynamic, so he's like a bumbling buffoon.
Yeah, yeah.
Be,
No, they definitely they made him a lot different,
be,
that's for sure.
because this Leon's like he stumbles, he's like afraid of guns. He just doesn't understand the situation he's in, and the obviously like the original concept for Leon is not the most believable because he's kind of like just a badass from the start.
Yeah.
But the idea is that he is cocky. Like he is like someone who can make light of a situation, and he is a trained officer. So you know nothing should seem too foreign to him. Um,
Exactly.
they just I don't know. You don't get the Leon people would want in that movie. And it's just kind of frustrating because people want to see Raccoon City done some justice, and we just still haven't gotten it.
No, I get that. 'Cause, I mean, I'm not gonna act like I know that much about Resident Evil. I really don't. But I know, like, if I were to have a game turned into a movie and it was a game that I liked a lot, and they just see you kind of trash it, I don't know.
I think they do a lot of things kind of like everyone's kind of giving the movie a pass because it's like, oh, it's the closest thing we're going to get to the games. I'm like, it is close in a sense, but I feel like as a fan, you would want something that's very like that pays respects to the actual plot.
Definitely.
Like, because Hollywood has a history of having producers that just don't give two diddlies about what they're making a movie about.
Exactly.
And then, like, the amount of research they do is, and this is always the problem, is like, because even for the Uncharted movie, like, I saw a video of Jacksepticeye and Tom Holland, and Tom Holland was they were playing Uncharted 4, and Tom Holland was like, "Oh, this is the first Uncharted game I played, and I loved it." And in my head, I'm like, "Well, that's the problem, is because Hollywood producers and actors don't take the time to play through the game series."
No, yeah,
So you have no concept of what the character is supposed to be embellic of. Like you can't fully commit to a character if you only get like the end of the, because Tom Holland only saw like end game Drake.
yeah.
Like
Well, didn't he play through the games though?
if he did, I'm not aware. I just recall him stating that Uncharted 4 was the first game he played.
Okay, okay.
And I'm under the impression, with how busy this man is, he probably didn't play the other Uncharted games.
Yeah.
And I think that problem carries over to video game movies in general, is you just don't have actors or producers who take the time to play through the games or read the books to understand what the character is, or like how to really
Like a meta for it, kind of.
well, I hear problems with the new Halo TV series too, because you're not really getting a convincing like UNSC or like Master Chief, just because I think they're more so focusing at like what Halo looks like as opposed to what Halo feels like.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
No, yeah, because I mean, I've heard like good things about the show,
I think,
but like,
yeah,
I don't know, like knowing like Halo and what it is, and comparing it to that, I feel like it probably won't hold up as well.
I think,
But
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I think Halo is just hard to nail because, like, as with, I don't know, if something's been around as a game for so long, I think it's just hard to translate it to real life.
yeah, no, yeah, I get that, yeah, because it's like you want something that you think is going to be similar
You know
to
what?
what you want it to be.
Exactly. But you know what I think needs to happen that hasn't happened?
What?
Is I think Hollywood needs to make a return to adult CGI. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but like, because not that I don't like CGI, but I feel like some of it doesn't work as well, though. Some of it's kind of like, I don't know, cringy, I guess you could say.
if not done well, yes, but like, okay, like you've obviously played Uncharted 4 and you know how great the cutscenes in that look.
Yeah.
I think people of like fans of the games would love seeing an animated Uncharted film of that quality, you know?
No, no, yeah, yeah. See, that would be nice.
Because if you do that, like the problem is there's a stigma against animated films for adults, and a lot of adult comedies that are animated have really simplified, dumb animation styles. And
Yeah.
that kind of stems from like Family Guy and like Simpsons, where it's like, oh, adults like the simple format because they're more focused on the content than the animation. But
Yeah.
then you have films like Advent Children, Final Fantasy, and the Resident Evil films that are animated that look, well, for the time they looked great. I mean, they're a little dated
Yeah.
now. But the cool part about doing animation is you can get away with using voice actors and doing things that look better animated than they would in real life.
No, yeah. See, that I understand.
And if they were to do like an Uncharted film, or like I would love to see Resident Evil 1 and 2 as animated films.
Yeah, that would look cool.
Those would look incredible, and you could capture the aesthetic perfectly. Like those are, I think video games going forward are just better off being CG movies, because you can do what you want to do. You can upscale like visuals, and you can like really capture the look of the game.
Yeah. That to me that makes sense, I guess, in that way. But like, I feel like, because I don't know, like I like 2D animation better personally. But because like I don't know, like I don't not like the newer stuff like Pixar and all that. Like, but I feel like everyone does the same thing. They all jump on board with like just a certain style, you know?
Well, one of the reasons I like anime so much is because you do get some incredible 2D art.
Yeah,
You Yeah.
and that I like, yeah, because I personally like the 2D animation better than I would like 3D. But obviously, like a 2D animated Uncharted would look kind of weird. Like
I
I don't, it just doesn't fit.
I don't think Uncharted could be uh downscaled to 2D just because it's always existed in 3D.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I mean, it depends because like several years ago, like I think the mid 2000s, there was a collection released called Halo Legends,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember this.
and that featured a mix of 2D and 3D, and it was
Yeah.
essentially like a series of animations set in the Halo universe.
Okay. See, yeah, I think that would work too.
So it would be cool if the adults of today and the entertainment industry became a little more supportive of like doing animated projects because I think they would they would see the fan base a lot more excited for it.
Yeah.
Because look at Arcane Legends or whatever the League of Legends is show that came out on Netflix. I mean, that's all animated and it is like 10 out of 10. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. See, I remember hearing about that. I never saw it, but I do remember hearing about it.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I guess to end it, don't watch the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City movie if you're a fan of Resident Evil because it's the equivalent of eating a goat turd. Really chomping down on that turd full of grass and bugs.
Rachel hates that movie.
Yeah, I do. All right, Colton. We're at an hour. We got to end it. So I'm gonna let you do the final words.
Alrighty, well, until next time then.
Yeah.